Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Stage 2 of the 2015 Battle of Los Angeles. Match 1, Marty Scroll versus Rich Swann. Immediate hot start here as Marty lives up to his villain name by attacking Swann from behind with his umbrella before the match even starts. Lope Suicida and Powerbomb only gets Marty the 2 count. They start running the ropes and obviously Swann has the advantage, coming out on top with a Hurricane Rana and a dropkick. They go back and forth just like you would expect. Marty's in control for most of the match, being the superior technician of the two, with Swann coming out on top when he's able to get himself some space and hit Marty with some strikes and high-risk maneuvers. The finish sees a hell of an offensive flourish by Marty, running European uppercut, enziguri in the corner, tornado DDT into a cross-face chicken wing, which Swann taps out to. Marty Scroll advances to the second round. This is the often overlooked, averagely fantastic match, as in the wrestling was solid all around, no botches, no awkward hesitation moments, moves were performed crypt and effectively, both wrestlers played their characters perfectly, but there was nothing that made this stand out, especially in PWG. It was a perfectly serviceable opener to welcome you to Stage 2 of the tournament. Match 2, Angelico versus Jack Evans. With these two typically being tag team partners, I'm expecting quite a lot out of them as they really should be very smooth together and understand the other's wrestling abilities near perfectly. Jack starts things off by shouting a promo about how Angelico is never beating a Heart Dungeon graduate. Some chain wrestling descends into running the ropes briefly before Jack just jumping spin kicks Angelico in the face. The shit talking continues as Jack informs his partner Jack Evans carries the team. The crowd reacts suitably as Angelico did in fact just get burned, Angelico grabs Meltzer's pen and paper and writes something down to the delight of the crowd. If anybody knows what he wrote down, please, if you could let me know in the comments, I'd appreciate it. This is how you stand out with nothing but personality. The crowd is eating up every bit of it. More chain wrestling ensues, which Jack comes out on top of and starts talking more shit. Okay, diminishing returns on every time you talk shit instead of continuing to wrestle, Jack. That is what we're all here for, after all. Jack is just having a mental breakdown here, continuing to rant and rave at the crowd until he steals someone's drink and downs it, at which point he suddenly becomes a drunken master in an amazing choreographed sequence. Well done, guys. That was really fun, and now let's get on to the actual wrestling portion of the match. Some smart wrestling psychology here as Jack and Angelico immediately reverse some of each other's big signatures and finishes, as of course they've seen the other do them numerous times. Finish sees Jack win after a Karate Kid style crane kick. Jack Evans advances to the second round. This match was fucking strange and went on significantly longer than it should have. The Drunken Master sequence should have happened sooner and there really should have been less filler wrestling afterward. The crowd was confused and got oddly quiet for a portion of the match. A 450 splash to the outside got them back into it, but it's difficult to lose the PWG crowd in the first place and there is too much talent between Angelico and Jack that it really should not have happened. Overall, Drunken Master sequence was amazing and the wrestling, when they finally got around to it, was at the incredibly high standard you expect out of PWG. Match 3, Chris Hero versus Timothy Thatcher. Despite the lighthearted nature of Hero trying to rile up the crowd to chant for him, this is clearly going to be fucking intense. Thatcher is giving no shits as to anything Hero is doing and clearly just wants to inflict pain. Thatcher's plan appears to be to work over Hero's leg and just generally inflict a bunch of pain by striking him repeatedly, whereas Hero's plan seems to be to just inflict a bunch of pain by striking Thatcher repeatedly, particularly by just kicking him in the face. So much of this match is just Thatcher getting kicked repeatedly in the face. Thatcher and Hero are not giving any half measures here. This is as heavy hitting as I've ever seen. God damn, guys, win or lose, you're both going to have to wrestle more matches after this. The finish sees Hero hit a tombstone piledriver, which Thatcher reverses the pin of into a Fujiwara armbar, which Hero rolls through and delivers the Hero's welcome for the 3 count. Chris Hero advances to the second round. Holy shit, what a match. You should watch this right now. The striking, the selling, their chemistry, the crowd's reaction, the commentary, fucking hell, it was amazing. I need a minute to calm down and I wasn't even there live. Good God, I cannot say enough great things about this match. So who got the death spot to follow that one? Match 4, Aerostar and Fenix versus Drago and Pentagon Jr. Well, if anyone was going to be able to follow that, it's going to be these 4. So, apparently the way to combat a crowd that might be burnt out after an extended heavy-hitting technical affair like Hero Thatcher is to just throw 4 incredibly talented wrestlers all versed in different aspects of Lucha Libre in the ring for a fast-paced, high-flying, crazy-ass match. Although that description does not do this justice to how fucking awesome this match was. Pretty sure it goes without saying, but you should watch this match right now. In stage 1, I said I thought Aerostar had a below average match with Cage, and that I was disappointed with Drago and Pentagon's performance. This match shows that they were off performances and that these guys are insanely talented with unbelievable levels of athleticism. In those matches I criticised the lack of smooth transitions and the slightly awkward way the wrestlers went from spot to spot. If that match was how not to do it, this match was how you do it. This was a crazy ass spot fest from the second the bell hit. No chain wrestling or lockups, just high intensity, fast paced, high risk wrestling. I cannot do this match justice by talking about what happened. This is a match that has to be experienced to be appreciated. I'm not even going to tell you the finish, just that it and the rest of the match was so good the crowd literally started throwing money at them after it was over. Match 5, Tommy End versus Drew Gulak. These guys slow the pace down immensely after that tag team match, which is a very smart decision because there is no way any of them could beat them at their own game. Tommy and Drew both have various levels of experience in striking and grappling, so this is shaping up to be a very slow-paced technical affair. I think Excalibur actually sums this match up nicely, which is that it's your typical MMA matchup. The first normal wrestling sequence doesn't come until 3 minutes before the pinfall happens. The finish comes out of nowhere as Tommy hits Drew with an elbow strike and gets the 3 count. Tommy End advances to the next round. Well, that was an odd one. A very good cooldown match to have right after the insanity that was the tag team match. Taken in its own right, the match doesn't have a lot to offer. The extended MMA grappling style opening was interesting to watch and painted these guys as effective fighters in and out of the ring, but it didn't really go anywhere. After one sequence, Tommy had the advantage, under the another, Drew had it. They just kept resetting and trying again until an Irish whip turned it into an actual wrestling match. All 4 wrestlers playing with expectations and experimenting with what a wrestling match can be. I just wish it had some actual meaning. I could have started this match 10 minutes in during the Irish whip and not missed a thing. Once they got started, it was obvious why they're competing for PWG, but then the finish happened about 3 minutes later, and that was it. I don't know if that was a legitimate knockout or if they were just trying to harken back to the start and the MMA vibe it was giving off, but as a wrestling finish in PWG, it was the odd one out, and it just felt plain weird to watch someone get the 3 count after just 1 elbow. Match 6, Mike Bailey versus Drew Galloway. I know Bailey is the hometown hero in PWG, and obviously the crowd is going to root for him, but as a big fan of ICW and Galloway, screw all of you, fuck him up Galloway, fuck him up. Typical heel antics against Bailey, mocking Karate Kid stance gets Galloway chopped and kicked a ridiculous amount of times. Being the heel and the obstacle that Bailey needs to overcome, Galloway's offense is based around overpowering and manhandling Bailey. Bailey then has his own good portion of the match in control, which visually seems ridiculous, but is actually handled very well with Bailey maintaining control due to his strikes and high-risk moves. It seems like PWG are trying to get across the idea that Bailey isn't the almost literal babyface underdog anymore, and that he's beaten some of the best and can hold his own against bigger, stronger guys, and this match is doing wonders to that idea. The finish sees Bailey reverse Galloway's double underhook DDT into a pinning predicament for the 3 count. Mike Bailey advances to the 2nd round. So you know how I was saying that this match seemed like it was trying to get across the idea that Bailey wasn't the perpetual underdog anymore, and that he could hold his own against bigger guys? That finish seems to suggest that PWG aren't fully ready to commit to that. The finish help keeps Galloway looking strong, but for Bailey to have gone strike for strike with Galloway, then to have Galloway kick out of Bailey's big finisher, and then to have to get the quick pinfall out of nowhere makes it seem like he's not ready for the big time yet. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of BOLA goes for him. Overall, it's a superb match, fantastic to see Galloway in PWG, he really delivered playing his part as the heel. Match 7, Ricochet versus Zack Saber Jr. Slow start with Ricochet and Saber feeling each other out, Ricochet quickly learning that attempting to chain wrestle Saber is not going to go well. You can't beat him at his own game, but Ricochet does well for a while, holding his own very well. It's good to see Ricochet branching his wrestling out. You don't usually see his technical ability showcased, but this opening proves that he's definitely got some talent there. I love the people's moonsault spot with Saber just obviously looking at Ricochet waiting to reverse it and put on a submission. No matter how many times I see Saber wrestle, it will never ever stop being impressive watching him target an arm and just destroy it. The match has been fantastically 50-50 after the opening feeling out sequence, neither of the wrestlers getting the advantage for long before the other reverses a move and gets the advantage back themselves. It's really been a back and forth contest with both guys looking amazing. Definitely got to give some big props to Ricochet as well here. We're about 20 minutes into the match when Ricochet hits the 630 senton, and that's only the second time in the match he's been to the top rope. Finish sees Ricochet attempt to reverse various submissions before Saber gets in the European clutch for the 3 count. Zack Sabre advances to the second round. Nothing on either competitor, but the ref taking a good second to realise what Sabre had done was a pin and count the 3 really hampered the finish. European clutch is a type of out-of-nowhere pin, and for those types of finishes the ref really has to be on the ball or it makes the person who gets pinned much weaker. It's less of an issue here as this particular move is one of Sabre's legitimate finishes and both looks really impressive, and after a 23-minute odd match of having various body parts horribly worked over, it makes sense that it would take a lot to kick out. Finish would have just been better if the rest was just that 1 second quicker. Outside of that very minor issue, fantastic match with both men coming out looking as good as they ever have. Sabre looked amazing holding his own against last year's champion, and because of his usual technical wizardry. Ricochet continues to prove that he is one of the best wrestlers on the planet right now, working a slower paced, more technical match against arguably the best technical wrestler out there, and not looking out of place while doing it. If you've only seen Ricochet perform his usual style of fast paced, high flying offense, then this one gets the "you should watch this right now" award just for how different this match is worked to his norm. Match 8 and your main event. Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks and Super Dragon, Mount Rushmore 2.0 versus the team of Biff Busick, Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee in a guerrilla warfare match. Holy shit, this is going to be insane, and the crowd are given exactly what they're expecting from before the bell even rings. Busick waiting in front of the curtains for Dragon to appear leads to a massive slugfest between the two. Everett and Lee then get involved with tandem tope suicidas on the Bucks. Holy shit, this is going to be insane. Crazy amounts of weapon spots, tag and trio maneuvers, tope dives, no one is safe. As the refs find out when Austin gets super kicked and Rick Knox gets super kicked and curb stomped. This match is the worst kind of match to review for me because it is the best kind of insane spot fest. This style of match is the worst kind for me to review because realistically all I can do is describe the spots and add whether or not I think they worked, but that's completely inane and redundant when you can just watch the preview for this show that PWG put up online and decide whether or not it's something you want to watch. For me, it worked immensely well and absolutely lived up to the hype and legacy surrounding guerrilla warfare matches. There are a couple of specific things I do want to draw attention to, however. Everett hits an inverted Hurricanrana, the only one of the night. Well done PWG. I don't know if it is intentional or not, but much better showing than stage 1. Speaking of stage 1, in it, the Bucks match recreated the famous Brock Taker sit-up spot from SummerSlam, and in this match, Everett Dragon recreated and honestly improved the Orton Evan Bourne shooting star press into Ace Crusher spot. This one was just much smoother and connected a lot better than in the original. The finish sees Everett, Lee and Busick get fucking destroyed before Nick and Dragon hit a Psycho Meltzer driver on Busick for the 3 count. Much like the previous match, this gets a "you should watch this right now," but with a condition. If you haven't seen any other PWG guerrilla warfare matches, then you should watch this right now. If you have seen the others, this isn't a viewing necessity as you know what you're in for. After the match, Excalibur gets on the microphone and says he does not care what it takes, he will not rest until Mount Rushmore 2.0 is over and he sees them put in the fucking ground. Not surprisingly, this ends with 2.0 running out and Excalibur getting super kicked and psycho drivered. Hero chases them off, but of course that also ends with him getting super kicked and psycho drivered. The show ends with the Young Bucks telling everybody to suck it and 2.0 standing tall. Good if basic storytelling here. 2.0 is the big bad that the locker room needs to overcome, otherwise no one is safe from being repeatedly super kicked and psycho drivered. They look invincible right now, being very dominant forces as single entities but damn near unstoppable as a team. Excalibur has been positioned as the opposing general, willing to do whatever it takes to stop 2.0 from continuing to dominate PWG. It's all leading to what I presume will be a massive war between 2.0 and whoever Excalibur picks to be on his team. Okay, I'm in. Let's see where you take it, PWG. Overall, even better than stage 1, with this time around there being no matches I would rank as below PWG's usual average. I would say there's still 2 matches that were personally disappointing to me, this time around being Angelico Evans and Gulak End, although those matches still had interesting elements to them, so they were certainly not all bad. The other 6 matches are all fantastic affairs, with match of the night going to Thatcher Hero just, and I mean just, beating out Aerostar Fenix versus Drago Pentagon Jr. All in all, I am unbelievably excited to see how this all culminates in stage 3, so why don't you join me there?